When it comes to the outdoors, the UP is hard to beat. Once in a while, you've got to take a road trip. Today, it's a fly-in fishing adventure in Ontario with my good friend Mark Martin.
The only difference I can tell you between U.S. walleyes and Canadian walleyes is where you end up at the end of the day. That's in a nice cabin along the shoreline of a pristine lake like Granite Hill.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. When it comes to fishing, I'm pretty content wetting my line in the many waters of the Upper Peninsula. But once in a while, it's nice to hit the road in search of something a bit different. If I'm going to travel outside the boundaries of the UP for fishing, my first choice is to head north. So when Mark called and asked if Patty and I would like to spend a week in Canada, there was no hesitation. I've spent a considerable amount of time filming in Ontario, but I was on the western side of the province. This time it would be different. This time we'd cross over at the Sioux and head north to White River, where we'd hop on a float plane with White River Air. Our destination, PK Resort's Granite Hill Lodge. This was extra special for me since this is where we'd go to fish long before I ever attached the camera to my hand. We passed through White River on my first trip to Ontario with my dad, as well as many more trips that followed with friends. Day 1 was simply about getting there, and would conclude with an overnight stay and a couple of beers at the Continental in White River. In the morning, we fly, and the adventure begins. Or so we thought. On day 2, we arrived at White River Air to find the tree line blanketed by a thick fog.
Fog just doesn't allow you to fly. It's much like the big airlines. There's limits, and we always need to see the ground when we're flying here, so some mornings it happens, and that's part of the experience sometimes. And
the fog would dissipate only to return minutes later. Eventually, Mother Nature added some rain to top it off. The waiting only helped to increase the anticipation of what was to come. I looked forward to the fishing, shore lunch, the sound of the loons, and the seclusion. But regardless of how much I dreamed and how much I wished the fog would lift, it did not. Morning turned into afternoon, and afternoon turned into evening. And all those things would have to wait. After a rainy night in a cabin, day 3 brought favorable weather, and the flying resumed.
Well, looks like we're going to give her a try. The weather's a little better, but we'll probably have to find out once we're in the air.
Before long, our ticket to seclusion appeared over the tree line. A short landing, a quick load up of gear, and we're off to Granite Hill Lodge.
It's been real decent. We had some warmer.
Our pilot was Paul, who owns Granite Hill Lodge, along with his wife Kareen.
Okay, all clear? Yeah, beginning of the week it was slow. We had like 80-degree weather and it was a little calm.
The saying, half the fun is getting there, most certainly applies to a fly-in fishing adventure. There's just something about the simplicity of hopping on a bush plane. You start to become more remote the minute you step through the door. The trip to the lodge is short, and the view awesome. Miles and miles of trees, lakes, rivers, and remoteness. It's remoteness you can only feel from a flying adventure. As our home for the next week appeared in front of us, I could feel the fish on the end of my line. I could taste the shore lunch. I could sense the upcoming relaxation and peacefulness. Anticipation, quite often overlooked or taken for granted, but one of the best parts of any trip. 906 Outdoors is brought to you by Race Driven.
Get in touch with your adventurous side and find your drive with Race Driven. As an online retailer, dealership, and manufacturer, we can provide power sport enthusiasts with virtually any part or accessories for ATV, UTV, and motorcycles. Customer driven, quality driven, race driven.
My name's Paul, and this is Corrine, my wife, and we're the owners of PK Resort. We're operators. We've been doing this for the last 10 years, and we're based out of White River, Ontario. We're a remote fly-in location. We have 7 cabins and a main lodge, and we have American Plan or housekeeping where you can cook for yourself. And you can stay anywhere from 3 to 7 days. We primarily have walleye and pike in the lake. Good trophy species of fish up to 30 inches for walleyes and pike over 40. So we're a family operated and owned business. Kind of always been that way with my dad and me growing up here since I was 14. I've been up here helping out, and I've seen a lot of folks come and go, but I've only seen the fishing get better, which is a good thing.
Our gear left the plane and ended up in our cabin without us lifting a finger. Yes, I'm now spoiled. I met up with Mark and Joni, and before I could say how's the fishing, we were in the boat.
This is always our favorite thing to do, is troll right out front of PK Resort here, because everybody else leave the dock and they want to go to the other end of the lake, or they want to go to the other lake, or they want to get as far away from here. So the fish never hardly get fished right here, so there gets to be quite a few of them building up, and we're going to be fishing. There's a little rock area out here, and there's a lot of cabbage weeds, and the cabbage weeds mean there's a lot of walleye, perch, and pike in those areas. And got a nice little chop going out here that should diffuse the light a little bit going down, so they should be suspended out here, even though it's 10 feet at the deepest. No problem, they're gonna be able to come right up and see these lures. So these are the little Escos. They're a Rapala lure. They're hard to find, but if you want to order them from Finland, you can find them all every day. But they come in a variety of colors. They got a little short lip on them. They dived about 6-7 feet, and I put a little snap on the front, and then I got a little homemade wire leader. It's really fine so that the fish can't see it as well. I got 11-pound real hair type leader on here that allows this lure to wobble right. Put my own ball bearing swivel on it, and then tie it right to the fire line. And the reason we're using fire line out here is because, like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of weeds, cabbage weeds, and you got to break them off. So you'll feel yourself going through the weeds, and you kind of snap it and it breaks them off. If you're going to use monofilament, a lot of times what happens is you pull the weeds out, you don't break them off, so now you got to reel in more time. So at least 50% of the times you can go through the weeds with fire line in these lures and snap the weeds off. And a lot of times when you snap that weed off, a fish is right there and to grab it too. There you go. You got a fish there. Wow, it got into the weeds too. You got weeds and you got a fish. There you go. Nice northern there. And it swallowed it all the way to China. That bait is way down there. You don't want to be putting your fingers in with them sharp teeth of a northern pike, because they'll make quick work of you. So you want to have your jaw spreaders kind of go up through their gills now. I got it undone. Now to grab the line here, pull it back out. You like that lure, Patty?
I guess I love this lure.
There you go. That's a nice shore lunch size right there. Esco strikes again. Oh, that's a nice walleye. Just take your time, slow down. Another one for shore lunch. We're gonna have shore lunch here because at noon we had to catch our own fish for shore lunch, and they didn't give us very much time. We got less than an hour, but we got 2 fish on, so we at least need 2 or 3 more fish. Take you by surprise, Patty? It looked like you jumped. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a big walleye. There you go, Patty.
Oh, nice.
There, nice one, Patty. We're gonna eat. You got one?
I got one.
All right.
All right.
I gave my secret lures. These are the two that were really catching fish, so I wanted to try a new color Esco that I haven't used yet, and I think I'm about ready maybe to go back to something that's proven. Maybe an hour and a half of fishing, and we got our shore lunch so we don't go hungry this afternoon. So now we'll get back to where they're having shore lunch and enjoy that, and they always do a good job, so I can't wait to, they probably got the fire going anyhow by now. So let's get going.
906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by NutriFeed, nutritional feed solutions for deer and horses.
Yeah, we do an all-inclusive plan. So basically, you come up, you bring your personal gear, your belongings. We supply all the bedding and towels. Boats are totally outfitted. You know, depth finders, swivel seats, unlimited fuel. Basically, we clean the fish for you if you want to do it yourself and cook them up as well. We have shore lunch kits available, but we try to make it as simple as possible. The American plan is one thing a lot of people like because all the meals are provided, and really the only drawback would be it's punctual. I mean, we serve supper at 5:30. You know, lunch, it's up to you if you want sandwiches out on the lake, a shore lunch, or come back to the lodge. But breakfast is good to go. 7 o'clock, we're serving breakfast. The boys are down the docks cleaning the boats, getting them ready for you. You know, we get live bait every day down there for you.
You never go away feeling hungry here, that's for sure. That's some of the things that our guests always talk about. They leave here with more weight than they came with because of all the good cooking and food. And our cook, Judy, she's awesome. She's here to please, and she'll make anything that you want. She's awesome. I mean, we have a set menu every night, but if you catch fish and you want to have some kind of appetizers, she'll make them for you. She makes great fish balls. They're
Pickerel
delicious.
pizza.
Pickerel
That's
pizza,
the bomb.
moose pizza. She makes walleye bruschetta. She does all kinds of interesting things for people that ask for it. So, but being up here in the kitchen, whereas I am most of the time, I really enjoy just making people happy and let them go out on the lake and feel full and full of energy, and it's great.
Yeah, but the best part is actually having the shore lunch where the fish practically flop into the frying pan. And we've got a couple of locations on the lake where you just pull up and the guides have already got it going for you. You show up and enjoy the fish you caught. And I think that's one of the top experiences you can have.
Now, I can tell you, when you're in a boat with Mark, there aren't too many things that are going to interrupt the day's fishing. Matter of fact, I can only think of 3 things that have ever pulled him from the water: darkness, extremely severe weather, and shore lunch. When it comes to food, I don't think there are too many meals that rank up there as high as shore lunch. I can't imagine how many shore lunches I've had over the years, and every one is just as good as the one before it. I'll never get tired of eating fresh fish cooked over an open fire on a quiet shore of a remote lake. So when I found out that at PK Resort they do a shore lunch every day, I was ecstatic. I think my mouth began to water by the first rock point that looked like a good shore lunch spot. What is it about shore lunch anyway? Sure, it's hard to beat the taste of fresh, and I mean fresh, walleyes. That might be the part we talk about the most, but it's certainly much more than just that. Certainly where you are makes a huge difference. A secluded island on a secluded lake in a remote part of Ontario. How could that not play into it? Now add in the smell of wood smoke and the sounds of the outdoors. Top it off with a hunger that can only be developed by spending the entire morning bobbing up and down with a rod in your hand. Ironically, trying to catch the meal that is going to satisfy the very hunger you're creating. Then add in the key element to any shore lunch: friends. Whether they're old friends or new ones you met on the trip, friends are what change a shore lunch from a meal to a memory. So again, what is it about shore lunch that makes it so special, so memorable? I don't know. I just know it's as much a part of a Canadian fishing trip as the fish. I've spent my share of time on one fishing trip or another in Ontario, and other than a couple that got away, I can't remember one stinking fish. But I can envision every shore lunch with exceptional clarity. When the shore lunch is over, the fire is gone, and the island is once again vacant. I'm guessing everyone is thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I can't wait to get back on the water, see what the afternoon holds in store. I can't wait to see what kind of fishing we'll find around the next point. And I can't wait for tomorrow's shore lunch.
It is, it's a big one. Oh yeah. This is gonna be a big one.
There you go. 27 inches.
Oh my gosh.
27 inches.
I could drop it any second. Come on, take the picture. Well, I just want you to hurry.
There we go.
I'm shaking.
Okay, hold them out that way. Come on, there he goes, there he goes.
That's why I'm saying take that picture now. I couldn't hold it much longer.
906 Outdoors is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. It's time to make you hungry. Brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings.
I've got these two beautiful fillets, and we're going to change it up and not pan fry. We're not going to grill them. We're going to make some fresh Thai fish cakes. I love fish cakes and I love Thai, so we're going to use a big clove of garlic. Put this right in here. We're going to go with a little bit of dry Thai seasoning and some red curry. Just going to give it a rough chop because it's all going to go into the processor. Got our garlic in here. In goes our fish. A little bit of our dry Thai seasoning. Teaspoon of red curry paste. I've got some coconut aminos, so we're going to do about a teaspoon of that. It's an alternative to a soy sauce. We're going to do a couple of drops of a Thai fish sauce, and this is going to give it a kind of a salty, briny taste. I've got some Thai lime, and then I've got some dried Thai basil that I'm going to use, some fresh Thai basil that we're going to put into, and about a teaspoon of cassava flour. I'm using this instead of a regular flour or a cornstarch just to kind of hold it together, act as a binder, whiz it all together. So we're going to get our pan nice and hot, and then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. You could use any fish with this. You could use a salmon, a whitefish, walleye. So we're not really deep frying them. While we're waiting for the fish to get done, we're going to make the dipping sauce. So we've got kind of a heavy mayo. We're going to do a little bit of mustard, and I'm going to add just a little bit of a Thai chili sauce, just a sweet dipping sauce. And add some sriracha. So I love the flavor of that. Okay, so our sauce is done. Our fish is done. And there you go. Thai fish cakes with a bang bang sauce.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works.
Rapid River Knife Works is the largest custom knife factory showroom in Michigan. Hunting knives, pocket knives, and kitchen knives. Watch your custom knife being made and engraved. Free laser engraving with your personal message or company logo. Lifetime warranty on every knife and free sharpening. Bring the family and visit Rapid River Knife Works today.
Yeah, let's see if we can not lose one. This hasn't come up yet, so. Oh yeah, now look at this walleye. Look at that one.
Oh my God, get the net.
So it's got to be head first. Get it in. There you got it.
Woo! Look at that bad boy.
It was worth waiting for. 26 3/4.
I got you by a quarter, Renee.
Okay, you did good. Nice fish, Patty. Ah.
I told you it was
Nice looking fish. Nice looking fish, Patty. We got a couple nice ones right here in this spot. Let it sit back there and just pounded it on bottom. And I felt a little tiny tick and I decided, well, I'll let them have it for a second. And then I picked it up and there's a nice fish. There we go. There we go. Got the little stand-up Northland parrot.
right. We bad. We bad.
Well, I think it's just amazing that, you know, you can just do whatever you want out here. It's like, the fishing is really good. I like the fishing. It's cool and stuff. And I just think it's just amazing just to have this place out here that's untouched by anything else. It's like, it's just sanctuary.
I think pretty much every destination has its own set of unique features. Certain things that make it stand out in your mind, make it special. While you're there, it might be the fishing, or how nice the boats were, comfortable beds, or great food. As time goes by and these destinations pass from great trips to fond memories, all of the amenities and physical things fade away, leaving just the friendliness of the people.
They're lasting friendships, you know. I only get to know people 1 week a year, but over 10 years there, we've become really good friends. People send me pictures back there to my mailbox, and you know, thanks for the good times and all that. And like I say, 1 week out of the year, but you know, it's like you know them for your whole life there. It's very interesting.
PK Resort certainly had all of those things. Spectacular fishing, quality boats, comfortable cabins, tremendous food, great scenery, you name it. But all of those things are belittled by the overwhelming friendliness of everyone there. Beginning with the crew at White River Air and their top-notch hospitality. Paul and Kareen, Raz and the guys on the dock, Judy and the girls. They're all there to greet you when you get off the plane, to make sure you're comfortable for the duration of your stay, and to see you off and invite you back when you leave.
We're only 3.5 hours from the Sioux-Michigan border, and a quick 25-minute plane ride, and you're right in one of those, you know, pristine God country locations that you would only think of being able to afford up in Alaska. It's very unique. I think that's what we're really selling in this business, is that gratitude and gratefulness to be able to access locations like this that still exist in this world, that, you know, people haven't gone the other direction and decide to do something else with it. We try to keep it the same. And
so I leave PK Resort with some fresh Canadian walleyes, a few pounds I didn't have when I arrived, a new destination that I will undoubtedly return to many times, not just physically, but every time I have a bad day. But most of all, I leave PK Resort with new friends.
I really like it. That's why I love it up here. You meet so many new people, and it's just a great place.
Be sure to tune in next week for part 2 of our Ontario trip. We'll fly into a remote lake for lake trout. Join 906 Outdoors on Facebook to see where we've been and where we're going, and get a glimpse of what's happening around the UP. And stop in at 906outdoors.com, where you can watch any of our past shows and see what's coming up next. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next week right here on 906 Outdoors.